Hi, I'm Ryan, and welcome to my coding bootcamp journey. In this series, I will share my experiences as I learned to code through Flatiron School's web development program. If you know anyone that would enjoy this series, please send them to the link at the bottom of your screen. All right. So, what is new this week? I finished up on Active Record Association, and I'm still in Rails. It which utilizes it. So anyway, finished up on associations and kind of combined combining that with nested forms. So, kind of going. I mean, if we take back go back to my Sinatra application, like a nested form would allow you to uh, iterate with on different classes, like instantiate a new object and associate it with another object and this kind of thing in the same form. So yeah, that can get a bit complex. And I got started on layouts and partials, and this is relating to the user facing pages, where a layout is pretty much a template for for like a large group of pages, whether it's the whole web app, or you can you do a layout for guests, another layout for registered users, another layout for like admin dashboard or something. Layouts essentially allow you to standardize the look and feel. So you put in the relevant calls to CSS calls and JavaScript and metadata and all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to repeat it across all of the pages, and which makes it easier to maintain and whatnot. And partials are like forms or other aspect, other HTML things like that you use across separate pages, like having a navigation bar on the side. Instead of writing out the actual navigation bar on every single page, you just write out a partial that you'll use across any page that you want it to render on, and then it's just a matter of a single line on the HTML form to have it render. So yeah, that's what I covered this week. And yeah, definitely had my share of struggles, and mostly around a has many through lab, or a lab covering the has many through association. And it also introduced the concept of nested attributes. So let me take a tree, for instance. So a tree has many leaves. A leaf belongs to a tree, but leaves also have other attributes like color, size, shape, that kind of thing. So that's a very simple example of what I'm talking about. So there there's functions within Rails where one class can accept nested attributes from another class. Like you can set in the tree class accepts nested attributes for leaves, and then you can use the leaves attributes to create a tree object with a leaf object associated with it, along with every single attribute. So it definitely it does allow to quickly, fill in all the necessary data instead of just manually filling everything in. But on this one kind of really threw me. It was difficult for me to kind of see all of the patterns play out. It was like trying to unravel like one like a web shot out by Spider-Man or something. Wait, where does this go? Kind of thing. And one part that threw me is one class whose relations were only belongs to. Like, the lab we had, the classes we had were post, comments, categories, user, and then, there was a join table in there. And the user belonged to comment and belonged to um, something else that it belonged that user to, and that was the one that was accepting nested attributes for something else for one of the other classes, which logically didn't make sense to me. like the like in my tree example earlier is just I don't know that part really threw me. Going in, I was like, well, I've dealt with has many through on Sinatra. This shouldn't be too hard. Yeah. I was given a big a big plate of crow to eat on that one. 3 days later, and 3 days later, Ryan's still going at it. The way that, because Rails is a lot more robust than Sinatra, implementing these kinds of relations aren't mm, they're more complex. I wouldn't say they're more complicated, but also with Rails, they do a lot of stuff in the background, and you're dealing mostly with methods that are meta. They're doing meta programming, like they're running a bunch. They themselves are running a whole bunch of code. So I mean, Rails, it's not it. Yeah. So it's gonna be pretty difficult to kind of see what it's doing in the background, so you can kind of see the path of what's happening. So you just it's at least for me, it was a lot of like lighting a flare, throwing it forward, and see what lit up. It was that at least that's the way it felt. Like, and honestly, talking with other people that have been in the industry, that's not a Rails only kind of thing. Like when you're working on a problem, I mean, the amount of times I've heard, I was like, I don't know, let's try it. It's like, what? I heard that a number of times from different technical coaches, where we're looking at something and just something pops in my head. Is like, well, what if I tried this? I was like, I don't know, let's try it. No matter how hackish it sounded, you know, and so that you know, so yeah, it was definitely new experience not being able to see the entire trail. It just kind of felt like it was like I was putting in something and then just trying to figure out what how to change the up. It just yeah. Um, but yeah, that was my big struggle this week. And as far as victories, this actually came about when I was kind of I stepped away for a bit. There have been a number of times where, it's I would come up with something only because I had stepped away from the problem. Like, I just went home and like, all right, show's over, bye. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And and then, I just go about like, taking care of stuff. And just at a random time, just in the back of my head, an idea would pop up. Maybe could try this, and either that would be the solution, or it would be something that would lead me to a solution. And there was one point where I was get it was the test was looking for a field named a certain name, having a certain name, and I knew that that test was just looking for an HTML tag with an ID equaling, that name. And I wasn't sure, it wasn't quite apparent to me through the test what page it was looking at. And so I had come up with the idea that, hey, I'll just write out the plain HTML on every single view until this thing changes and I get a new error, because at that point I know I'm working on the right page. And then, it's just okay, it's testing on this page. Now I can now I'll just fill in the Rails form. I'll just put in the form helper instead, and start working on these other aspects of it, and as far as like the associations and all that kind of stuff. So, kind of a nice little troubleshooting trick I had it figured out. And also pairing with my cohort lead, he he really help me work through more difficult aspects of the lab. And we actually had to change one of the tests a bit, because I was seeing this weird error I've never seen. So we went back into so we went into the test and saw a line where they were assigning of their, they were setting a variable, and they and then what they were assigning it to inputted some kind of non nil value data. It was actually data that actually had values in it and whatnot. And then the line before it, it tests is, expect this variable to be empty, or in other words, not holding any data. It's like, wait a second. I don't think they did this part right, or or maybe they're not expect, or maybe they put in the wrong expectation or something, and so then we ended up deleting the one part of the variable assignment line that actually inputted data, where it was, so we changed it to where it was reading data and not inputting data. And so little picking up little things like that really helped. And overall, this isn't just this week, but the our core lead, I definitely got to give him props, because just the way he explains things really he puts things in a way to where I can really grasp it. And he's always been real patient with me and whatnot. But granted, I don't know how much I have been trying his patience, but I'm not going to put that to the test, though. But yeah, I would definitely not be this far along in my learning if it wasn't for him, for sure. So yeah, I would definitely call that a big victory. And what am I looking forward to? What I'm looking forward to has nothing to do with learning code at all. Well, it's tangentially related, but there is a conference here called Develop Denver, and that is next week. So I am not sure if I'll be able to do a video. We'll have to see. I'll definitely be obviously it's on Thursday and Friday, and so obviously I'll be working on lessons and labs on the first three days, and hopefully I'll be able to get the it won't set me too far back, but this is kind of I I just bear I it's organized by two of the hosts on Sprint a UX podcast, and I had just heard about the podcast like not long after the the conference last year, and they're the ones that organize it. And so I mean, it is important to kind of get out there and and meet other developers. And I like a lot of the topics that they see after they have all of their proposals, and they actually put it to a vote to the people that are attending. And so which that is a nice touch. I don't know how often that happens at developer conferences, but I've been to a number of Comic Cons, and there's no like attendee voting process on the kind of panels that that'll take place. Just every once in a while they say, hey, we're gonna have this guest, we're gonna have that guest, and then poof, like a week before the conference, say, here's our schedule. Kind of thing. So I mean, that is definitely a nice touch that they did. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. So yeah, that was there's quite a bit here. So that's all I have for you this week. So I do thank you for watching. If you want to stay up to date, please like and subscribe, and feel free to check out the rest of this series. And if you do have any comments or questions, please post them below, and I'll see you in the next chapter.